Welcome to a Friday. It's been a little while. I had good intentions. I was going to do these on my vacation. I was gone a couple weeks, but I was having too much fun. I know. Missed you guys. I'm back. It's hot. We've got heat advisories, heat warnings, wind advisories, and even a storm warning. I know, offshore. We'll look at that. That's kind of be off the north coast, further outer waters. But mariners this week are going to be, at least for the next 3 days, are going to be up against some really, really strong winds. And for a time, some dense coastal fog. No rain in the forecast for a while, but big changes as we come to the end of this weekend. So today, it's going to be very warm. I'm not seeing any records, but there could be, some of the places in the Central Valley where the real heat is, they could see some records. We could see an odd record here between today and tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a little cooler around the Bay Area, but it'll be one of those deals where it's a little warmer inland. So Redding today goes $105. Tomorrow, Redding, you're 106. San Francisco today, 75. Tomorrow, San Francisco, 70. Because of sea breeze, right? So the marine layer is going to deepen. Sacramento, 101 today. Sacramento, 102 tomorrow. It's hot. It's well above the average for this time of year. Santa Barbara, 76. Not as prominent or pronounced down south in Southern California, the heat, that is. 83 in in LA. And Palm Springs, 103. That's tomorrow. And just looking at the big satellite image, we'll look at some, I'll show you some vacation photos too, but we'll do that at the end. We'll get the weather out of the way. What do we got? We got a lot of fog, especially this morning. If you woke up along the coast, this is as of 2 o'clock today. You can see the fog right along the coast, and it's a shallow marine layer, right? And you know that because you can see it's not intruding. Even in these low-lying areas, like up around Nicasio, and there's not a sea level gap, but a low-lying gap in this area, nothing getting in. So it's a very compact, tight marine layer at this hour. It will stay packed tomorrow and then gradually increase, thicken, like a sponge fills with water, right? And that's what's going to happen. The sponge is going to fill, and temperatures are going to generally drop as we go into Sunday and Monday. Okay, so yeah, I just love that picture. You know what's interesting here too is look at the northern. I was up. By the way, this is where I was. I was here, then I was here, and then I was way up there. And then I did. Oh, you know what I did yesterday? I drove all the way home from there. One day. It's a long drive. But what I wanted to point out before I got sidetracked there was look at the snow in the mountains, right? Very, it's going down. Like just the time I was up there, I saw a lot of snow, going away. And then down towards Mammoth, we'll look at Mammoth today. They're still skiing, and there's a lot more snow down there, a lot more depth, a lot more elevation. That area tends to get really significant snowfalls because it's closer to the moisture source. Okay. So back to today, this is the profiler. I got it here live. I might have to plug it in elsewhere so you can see the full thing. But time runs like this. So this is yesterday. This is today. So you can see it's pretty shallow marine layer. Yesterday too, pretty warm, right? And it even pinched down this morning before lunchtime, and you're down around 800 feet, which makes sense because that's when that satellite image was taken. So really dense fog along the coast, and again tonight, Highway 1, that's what it looked like, right? That's what it looked like this morning at Steamer Lane with that shallow inversion and that high pressure building in. And with that, you get heat. And so that's why we're looking at the temperatures we're talking about today. Again, Concord today, 101 degrees. Sacramento, 101. San Francisco, 75. Cooler on the peninsula, but still very warm in the Inland Bay Valleys. San Jose, Oakland, you guys are upper 80s, low 90s, which is very, very warm for urban areas. There is a heat advisory. That is in orange. That is through tomorrow. This is from the National Weather Service. And then this area represents a extreme heat warning, which is, we talked about it, but I always talk about it actually ad nauseum. But the heat's the thing. Heat of all the weather stuff, heat's the thing that'll take you out. More people die from heat than they do from tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, things like that. Thousands of people a year, and they can't even diagnose it because if you have, I always say this, but if you have pre-existing conditions, like if you're old or you're really young or you have emphysema or asthma or whatever, the heat just makes everything worse. And we just take it for granted because we don't have a choice. Okay, so the cooling is coming. This is the GFS 500 millibar vorticity. And what do you got? Well, here we are, square around us. You got a little low to the south, and then you get this high that bumps away, and then this is Sunday morning. So you see, this is today, this is tomorrow, and then Sunday morning, right about here, you see those two merging? That's your cool down. It's still gonna be warm, still gonna be pretty warm, still be in the 70s, 80s, but I think those 90s go away. I think the Central Valley cools. Redding comes down a few degrees as well, out of the 104 range and back into the reasonable upper 80s, low 90s. And then we get just kind of this cooler pattern. See that? Right, that's through Wednesday next week, Thursday. So the heat goes away and it stays away. There's nothing here to indicate any kind of warm up after we get through this weekend. So this is I think this is North American model, yeah, and this is forecast temperatures. So I'm going to take us through the model. This is a forecast for this afternoon. And you see the purples, those are 100s. You see the yellows, a little cooler along the coast. This is the forecast for today. Do this, just look at the colors. And then here we go into tomorrow. We're gonna go Sunday afternoon. Little cooler along the coast. Did you notice it? It's a little cooler. You got the little yellows and greens, and the wind's picking up offshore. And then you go into Sunday afternoon, and you see this cooling, or the heat gets pushed further south. So the sea breeze doing its job, even as we get into Sunday afternoon, helping out Northern California, but down around Bakersfield, Fresno, you stay hot through Sunday, and then everything starts to cool off after that. So we can look at that another way. We can look at the winds, because this was that's surprising. Well, a storm warning offshore is surprising, actually. They're going to have one as we go into Sunday, Monday, or you'll see it here. So you can see the barbs. It's not windy where you are. It's not windy at all. It's offshore. You see the colors? This is on Saturday afternoon. That's 40 knots. Just off of Point Reyes. So this is small craft advisories, and then watch what happens as we get, this is offshore, but look at the reds. Look at that. Those are 50, 60 knot winds blowing on Sunday afternoon. So the pressure gradient really lights up. And you can see, we talk about pressure gradients all the time. Those are the lines, and they're close together. This is a surface map. But I'm looking at winds in there, I see 70 knots. Yeah, 70 knots, 80 knots. So really significant winds, otter waters. I know, you're not going to be out in your boat, and that's thankful. But if you are a boat person, it'll send. The thing that you have to understand about wind is it doesn't just affect even though it's blowing out there, those chunked up, ripped up, gnarled up waves will come into the surf zone, and they'll be dangerous. Quite frankly, they're really all over the map. They're not organized. Highs for today. These are the forecast highs. And it's good to be back. Thanks for having me back. I feel bad. I kind of left. It was weird. I was like, I should do something, and talk about weather, because I think some weather happened when I was gone. And then I was like, no, those dudes they're happier if I'm just happy. So I know. I sort of just threw that on you, but I think that's true, because I don't want to be a content dude. I just want to do weather, and so. For whatever that meant, whatever that just meant. These are the highs forecast for today. There's the heat. Desert Southwest, it's a bunch of it. And then here's tomorrow. Not much change, but you notice cooler along the coast slightly. And then further cooling along the coast, that's Sunday. So Redding on that Sunday afternoon has cooled out of the 105 range down to 95 or 90 degrees. Still very warm, just not as hot. And the cooling will go further. Redding will be in the 80s as we go into next week. Chico will be in the 80s as well. And then we'll just be kind of mild around the area. Tree pollen's not as nasty as they have been. Things are calming down a little bit. National map shows orange, the heat advisories. Purple, right here, extreme heat concerns right here. That's red flag warnings, heat concerns. Just nasty stuff. And again, heat's a problem for lots of people. Some rain concerns here, some flooding, a little bit of rain issues down here. As this cooler moisture, or this moisture warm air moves in. These are the forecast conditions throughout the day today and a little bit into tomorrow. We can look at tomorrow nationally. I did my best right there too. This is the forecast for tomorrow because I want to get our weather done, right? So what did I say? So we got today, Friday, awesome, pretty warm. Maybe a record. Tomorrow, Saturday, awesome. Cooler at the coast, more fog, deeper marine layer, but still awesome. Sunday, everybody cools down, deeper marine layer, onshore wind, and all next week is going to be just kind of like, a little fog in the morning, a little sun in the afternoon. Going to be Probably average temperatures to below average temperatures next week. That'll help the fire danger. These are the forecast highs for tomorrow. And then this is Trestles. All right, I got through it. Because I just realized I was watching, when I was gone, I was watching some weather videos, and I thought, God, you guys just want the weather. So I got to nail it off the top. You got it, right? We know what Friday, Saturday, Sunday are going to be like. And you can go away, go about your business. But it'd be nice to get it all done in the first 5, 6, 7 minutes. And then give you some of these nuggets. This is Trestles. I show it often because it's going to be where the Olympics have their surfing venue, which is, it's a machine. That's why. I mean, why don't they have it Kelly's Wave Pool? Because you could do it there. But this is the ocean, and it's a machine. The winds are bad right now, but when I say machine, this in the summer months when the Olympics will be, this thing's been drawing swell for the last months, right? It's just 2 to 4, 3 to 5. It comes up. The swells peak up as we go into 48 hours from now. I guess they'll get up to 5 or 6 foot, which for Trestles is almost the perfect size. So that's Trestles onshore wind. Pretty foggy everywhere else on the coast today because of that dense fog advisory. Mount Shasta, look at all that snow for this time of year, right? Wow, beautiful shot. And then this, when I show you this, I'm just highlighting the idea that you can, I think I can do this. You can kind of pan these cameras, right? And I was impressed. I mean, I grew up in this area. I used to basically see Mount Lassen from my house. This is Mount Shasta, obviously. But that's a lot of snow. It's a lot of snow for, the 30th. Holy smokes. The snow line is very low. So, and I was up there a couple weeks ago. This is Mount Lassen from the backside, right here. And that's a lot of snow there as well. This is from out around, kind of out towards Bernie. I was just up in Bernie too. Bernie's awesome. All that whole area, let's see if we can do this. There's Lake Almanor, awesome. So yeah, it's not by Bernie, we're more towards Lassen. This is Lake Almanor here. And you can see some of the die-off on the tree. Looks like, I don't know if maybe that's where that fire was. Yeah, that's the fire. I was just looking at these pine trees. They're all scarred out. You can see the black at the base. Big fire a couple years ago, if you remember, Greenville, that area. So yeah, a beautiful day everywhere. Cooler this weekend. What else we got for you? This is Bliss State Park, which is Lake Tahoe, which is stunning. Not a lot of wind up there either. And how do you know? You could look at the trees, but you could also look at the lake. Not that windy. Let's take another live camera shot. Thanks for hanging in if you're still around. This is Santa Barbara. What can I say about Santa Barbara? 73. When are they going to go today? 75 degrees. Tomorrow they'll go 74, 75. And then we've got Laguna Beach, which is kind of awesome. It's always just has some mystique about it. But this is that little bench that whenever I go there, I ride my bike right up the ridge, go sit there, and sometimes you can see the islands out there. It's perfect. And then here we are at Mammoth Mountain, and they are still skiing. Not a lot of snow. I mean, I was up at, I looked at Palisades camera earlier, and truthfully, they lost they had a lot of snow, but it just went very quickly. But yeah, folks are still actively skiing it. I don't know if you've seen these yet. I call them flow tracks, but these S-turns, they're really grooved out. There's one here too. They groove them out really deep. And I think they're awesome for snowboarding because you can just ride, but you're in. It's like a flow track on a mountain bike, we used to call them flow tracks. I don't know what they call them anymore. But you just kind of just get in it, and you're not going very far in a positive vector direction. You're just going side to side, but you're pulling G's in these awesome turns. I actually, when I was up at Sun Valley, that's one of the places I went. I got into a bike park and got into that because there was it was a pump track is what it was, but it was kind of this. It's the same idea where you use your momentum. Okay, so I'm going to show you some pictures. This is my lovely wife and that little dog that you often hear barking. Turns out everywhere you go, you got to take them. This is what I'm finding out with little dog. My big dog Carl, or Casey, my older dog, or hell, even my cat Molly. You could, they're kind of on their own, man. But this girl, Franny, is like, no, it's like a monkey, a cat, and a dog. It's a whole bunch of things. So, yeah, so that's awesome. And then Just fishing up on Fall River, really fun. That kind of spring water bubbles up from underneath. Northeast California, you guys, right? You know that, but I know it's hard to sustain, make a living up there. I tried, but it's beautiful. I mean, it's just so much. And then I spent some time on the McCloud River fishing, did well, and I was up there fishing the weekend before that too. So I've had a pretty good run. And interestingly enough, my longest vacation I've ever taken, truthfully, because I've always worked, in television. 2 weeks is a luxury. I think it was a little over 2 weeks. So yeah, there you go. Those family pictures on here. I never eat the fish, obviously. Plus, I mean, I would if I was hungry, I guess. But I don't. They're beautiful, and they don't really provide much of a meal, and it's easier just to go. It's easier just to leave them alone. The karma in killing a fish is, I don't know. Yeah, if you're dying of hunger, you should. But they're so pretty. I just like looking at them. Okay, I've got the birds. Now here's something I'm stoked about. Right? Like I left, I go, okay, they're gone. I didn't have Wi-Fi or anything. So I'm like, they're gone. I'm going to miss the whole thing. And it turns out those bad boys are staying put. Yeah. I think that's, oh gosh, I want to say there you go. I want to say it's Gizmo, but never too much. Anyway, they stand out on that perch. You've probably been watching it. And I just started watching it again this morning, but they just stand out there. I don't believe they've flown yet. They stand out there. It's fun when the wind comes up. And then they put their wings out. And certainly, I think it's Sunny, puts his wings out and kind of, faux flies, which is awesome. But it's fun to watch them right now because they're doing this move where they're very like watching what mom and dad do. I'm going to back up, see if we can find some coolness. See there's stuff well there. Oh, the sun's in a bad spot for us. What can we do there? Oh, now we're at night. Sorry. I know. Let's see what they're doing in the morning. There they are. They're going, another long day. Anyway, okay. So that's it. We did it. We got the weather done. Good to be back. Tell a friend. Keep it going. And again, if you were counting on stuff during the last 2 weeks, I should do something on the road, but I just get in. And then I don't know how organic it would be because I would just be wanting to go fish or wanting to go get on the bike or go surf or something. So we'll see. But I did say I would try, and I didn't try because I realized I couldn't try because I was not. I was just in it. I know. Okay. Have an awesome weekend. I will see you back here. Hopefully, I think the birds, they go any day now, like any day. Look at that. They're both going, oh, man. Oh, dude, we can do this. Isn't that awesome? They seem, this is just me anthropomorphizing, but I really do feel like these two are getting closer. There was a time when the bigger one, the kind of the alpha, the first egg hatch was kind of bigger and they're kind of equaling out. And they seem like they're, at least I've only watched them today, but they seem like they're sort of becoming simpatico. And I'm sure there's a term for that. Anyway, okay. I'll see you back here tomorrow.